Hello, and welcome to the CivilNet podcast. In recent years, much has been said about Armenia's pivot to the West. But in the East, another important relationship has quietly gained momentum, Armenia's deepening ties with India. While the two countries are often linked in headlines over defense cooperation, Armenia-India relations go far beyond that, and yet there's a lot more that could be done to harness their full potential. Here to tell us more from the Indian perspective is Rananjay Anand, who is co-founder and secretary general of the Armenia-India Business Council, as well as president of the Indo-Armenian Friendship NGO. Thanks for joining us, Rananjay.
Thanks, Paul. Good morning and Barabjes, namaste to your all audience all over the world.
Thank you very much.
It's a great pleasure.
Well, Armenia-India relations have only made headlines over the past few years. They go far, far back, and not just the Soviet times, but lovers of history know that successful Armenian merchants settled throughout India going back centuries. So as for relations in this modern era, though, your Friendship NGO was founded more than 15 years ago. So can you tell us briefly about how it came to be, fostering ties between the two countries, and then that really, intensified once the governments got involved post-2020?
Thank you, Paul, for this interesting question, because this is very, very important for your audience to know that how India-Armenia relations have, charted the territory in the last couple of decades, and also how India-Armenia relationship, which had civilizational ties since ancient times. First of all, as you asked me how we started, when we started it. So yes, it was 2009 when the idea of India-Armenia Friendship, the organization itself was conceptualized in a way that I was supposed to meet my would-be wife then. As you know, just for your audience, my wife is from Armenia, and we are married for the last 13 years already.
A great example of Armenia-India friendship already.
Yeah, it started from there only, actually. Before that, I had no idea whatsoever regarding India-Armenia relations and all. So given that fact, we dived deep down inside, and way back in 2009, it was really like out of the world question, India-Armenia relations. To my surprise, it was very, very difficult for me to even visit to Armenia back then. There was no tourist visa for Indians back then. So you can understand what prompted us to take this relationship further. We started off in 2009, and in 2011, we established it as an organization within Armenia, official organization, Indo-Armenian Friendship NGO. And since then, we have been dedicating ourselves in this particular, we have invested a lot ourselves into this relationship. And right now, when we see that how the dynamics of India-Armenia relationships are right now, it's just like a dream run for me, that what I had visualized, I have envisaged long time back. I see it being fructified in different dimensions.
Yeah, and like you said, this was really unthinkable years ago. It was not considered Armenia-India, maybe a thing from history. The first event that I went to from the Friendship NGO was around 2013. There was a dance group from India that was brought here, and it was amazing being in Yerevan, but having all these Indians on stage, but in the audience too, dancing. These were the medical students at the time, that was the main populace of Indians that were in Armenia. But now it's grown so much more. And so while a lot has been made of these ties between Armenia and India growing, I've also heard that at least within the Indian Foreign Ministry, these relations were kept, rather conservative and just seen as transactional at the time. In fact, one of the people I interviewed here a few months ago, who has closer ties with Azerbaijan, it seems, was even bragging to me, maybe to make me feel bad, about how when he's in Baku, he sees Indian businessmen everywhere, and they're just lining up to do business with them. So really maybe trying to secretly undermine our pride of the Indian-Armenian relations. However, that eagerness that they had has hit a brick wall in the past few months because there was a terrorist attack by Pakistan, and India responded with the military Operation Sindoor against terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan. Azerbaijan and Turkey pledged their full support to
Right.
Pakistan. And as a result, there was a boycott campaign throughout Indian society against everything Azerbaijani and Turkish. And they were warming up to things Armenia, Greece, others that are seen as not friendly. So has this changed the way the Indian establishment and public looks at Armenia?
Well, definitely, yes. When I say, when India-Armenia relationship, when we are talking about, it's been never like it was not friendly or it was not positive for each other. It was not something which was vouching for each other. But Operation Sindoor event, very unfortunate terrorist attack that happened in India by Pakistan, and that was well pinpointed, very religiously, pinpointed with the shooting of Hindu tourists in Pahalgam, Kashmir, by Pakistani terrorists. So this Operation Sindoor, when it happened, the biggest thing, the Indian people, the public sentiments, they are always, patriotism driven, nationalistic in that way, because they observe who is playing from what part. And when Pakistan attacked India through drones, through projectiles, through missiles, most of those drones were considered to be, taken from Turkey. And of course, it was from missiles were from China, and Pakistan, Turkey, Azerbaijan gave complete solidarity. Turkey and Azerbaijan, they gave complete solidarity to Pakistan. And people in India were observing that it is a very, very emotional issue for Indian people. And since then, they got to know that why should they understood themselves. They asked themselves, why should we support countries which is hostile to us? Why should we reward them with our, the forex money? When we do business, when we do tourism, we are going in big numbers to those countries, and they in return they are giving us hostility through our enemies. So this public sentiment built up very strongly, and post Operation Sindoor, there was a call for boycott Turkey and boycott Azerbaijan through not only business products but also tourism. There was a huge outpour of sentiments against Azerbaijan and Turkey because of their support to Pakistan. Now, this came to the point that there should be some countries which will be benefited because of this rerouting of the tourism, of the business, and Armenia happens to be very, very natural option in this equation.
Well, so there's a saying, strike while the iron is hot. And right now, like you said, there's great sympathy among Indians for Armenia. But is there more Armenia can do to harness those sentiments?
Definitely. This is the right momentum. And, I think rarest of the rare momentum right now, I can say, in terms of India-Armenia business relationship. And, as I said, you have willingness, you have public orientation towards Armenia. Public people want to come to Armenia, to reroute their businesses to Armenia. So this is the momentum when Armenia should capture very, very, dexterously. And this is the time when there should be all efforts. There should all efforts be there where you have those opportunities harnessed into a transformational relationship, which can take your business relationship towards the next level. And this is where I find it that if we wait too long without capturing this, then although this sentiment is not going to die down so soon, but there has to be some remarkable visible action plan to harness this opportunity. And as I see, the biggest roadblock in this kind of transformational relationship is the absence of direct flight, as we have discussed. Many people already we have been discussing this issue for quite some time.
Yeah, I had heard for a couple of years ago they were going to start flights, and yet they still haven't.
Right. So we had at least 2-3 times earlier announcement of direct flights. Lots of efforts are being there. Even we have been, very, very active in making those things. Armenia-India Business Council is also trying to lobby. This is a kind of, effort which should come from governmental side, not governmental side, public-private partnership. This is where the unison should come out with a very, very strong result. But unfortunately, it has not transformed into that so far. So yes, there were announcement quite a couple of times earlier, and again we have announcement that direct flight would start from from September 2025. If that happens, that's well and good. That's I think the best thing to happen this year for all of us, because without direct flight we cannot imagine the transformation of those rerouted tourism and businesses to be translated into the real actual business on ground in this bilateral business relationship as well. So this is very, very important that both sides should work in tandem with each other. Even if they need to walk extra mile, they should walk and seize this momentum, which according to me, which is rarest of the rare momentum for India and Armenian relationship so far.
So I heard from someone that was visiting Georgia that they said 90% of my hotel was Indian tourists. I was in Georgia, it has been a few years. And so something has changed a lot because I didn't see them there when I was there some years ago. And one of the reasons is I've learned that there are 5 different cities in India that have direct flights now to Georgia. That's just our neighbor. It's right there. Azerbaijan also has direct flights. And so Armenia is the one, even though Armenia is seen as the one with the closest and best relations, it's the odd one out with no direct flights. The September plan is for New Delhi. But there are so many other major cities like Mumbai that could just as easily have tourists coming here. Mumbai, of course, being like such a center of business too. Some have stated to me, Armenia should, even if we're waiting for September, why wait? Start with charter flights, start with something to really harness this now.
Yeah, actually, when we talk about direct flight operation between two countries, it's not just a logistical issue. It's a kind of statement as well, the geopolitical statement that these two countries are getting aligned geopolitically. All right, let's go into the perspective of the tourists, number of tourists outbound tourists flowing out of India. According to UN WTO predictions, by 2030, India is going to give 50 million of tourists to the world.
Wow.
By 2030, 50 millions. And by 2040, it is, estimated to be somewhere around 80 to 90 millions of tourists in the next 10 years, from 30 to 40. So even if we take the count of 2030, 50 million, and if Armenia is able to divert those rerouted tourists towards Armenia, suppose just 0.1% of that 50 million, it's not, it's a big number in itself. So why it is like that tourists numbers are not coming here? Why it is like that business houses, they are willing, but they are unable to make it happen? So direct connectivity is the biggest issue here, a biggest roadblock in this next transformational journey of India-Armenia relationship. So first thing that I think and I advocate, I plead to both countries, and I know they are aware very well, they are working in all possible manner that flight should be there. But yes, I think it's time to walk extra mile for having this direct flight connectivity, not only direct connectivity of the people, but also for the cargo movement. That is also required.
An indication of how relations grow and be more mutually beneficial, like we're talking about, is the fact that this Armenia-India Business Council that you founded just happened last year.
Right.
So it's the next step from friendship to business. So what sectors would you say hold the most untapped potential for trade and investment between India and Armenia?
There are tourism. As I said this is the biggest, sector which can get very much into action with eyeing a big pie of share from the Indian outbound tourism. So tourism is one. IT sector is always there. India, considering Armenia as a human resource a good human resource in terms of IT infrastructure, IT development and all. So India and Armenia can collaborate in IT field as well. Cyber security is another field where India and Armenia can collaborate. Cyber security, IT infrastructure, agri-technology, drone systems, defense cooperation, which is already there and can be solidified through different cooperation in different fields like drone, anti-drone technologies. And then you have agri-food agro business, which is very much in action. So it has a lot of potential. The wine making in Armenia is great. This India offers a huge market for Armenia in terms of the consumption of wines and liquors. So that field is also there. And then we have pharmaceuticals. India is like the pharmacy of the world. India is known as the pharmacy of the world. But there is always a great collaboration. India offers that opportunity to Armenia as well. Areas of interest are tremendous. Only thing is that willingness is there. Now, infrastructure has to be there to support that basis. That's to support those kind of willingness to be transformed into real picture on the ground. So this is what I mean to say that yes, cooperation should be there. There should be some plan of action to transform those business opportunities into the real picture.
Now, can you give any maybe advice to Armenian businessmen who want to do business with Indian businessmen? What's the Indian side looking for in a partner?
When it comes to business, so business is all about market, how big market you are offering, right? So this is somewhere Indian businesses, initially they think, oh, Armenia is a very, very small market. What are we going to gain out of this? Okay, even if we go there, then the market is very small. Where are we serving? What profit we are making? What cooperation we are doing? But, since long time, I have been advocating one very, very, the fulcrum of this relationship, business, how it can be taken further. So our approach has been that let's not make Armenia as a market, but Armenia can serve as hub of Eurasian and Eurasian Economic Union and European Economic Union market as well. So Armenia can easily offer that kind of it is very affordable place for businesses to set up. Government has business friendly tax rebate basically programs here. So companies can come, set up their plant, they can manufacture, they can distribute around. So the cost of erection, of cost of operation, of cost of execution of the product within Armenia will be quite cost effective compared to other nations around from Europe or somewhere. So Armenia offers that opportunity, and I'm sure the business houses should look for that. A very big reason of our establishment of Armenia-India Business Council has been to disseminate this this idea through by offering our platform, AIBC, as a platform of facilitation to those business houses. So we are looking upon those business houses to come to us, join us as our member, take the benefits. We are there to do matchmaking. We are there to facilitate to the association. We are there to be part of their growth story. So there are various avenues to be exploited, and this is where I think Indian businesses can look from that perspective. And same way, Armenian businesses, India happens to be world's largest market. Okay, India is world's most populous country already. India is a country which is very aspirational right now. The disposable income of Indian middle class, the great middle Indian class, is just growing and growing and growing. They are ready to splurge money on their outings, on their uses, on their consumption. So when a market is aspirational, that market is the best market for you. You should vouch up for that. If there are cultural differences, or if there are some other differences, you can cope up with that in a very, very innovative manner. I mean, businesses are businesses. You should take it from business perspective, right? So India is offering that market wherein Armenia would not be even able to fill up. If the demand is really starting to catch up, Armenia cannot fill up that demand. So that much possibility you have just within India, right? So this has to be well, this has to be well calculated, and with proper calculation, with proper visualization of the growth of the market orientation in that field. I think companies can work, very in a tandem with each other, and that's where AIBC is there. So recently, I remember we have helped an Armenian company, big Armenian company, who are basically the meat importer from India. So they were in some problem where their consignments were stuck in the custom clearance because of absence of some certain kind of certificate. So they approached us, and we just helped them with our own network and with the help of Embassy of India. So it was a huge consignment, and they would have lost a lot of money because of being into that condition. But Armenia-India Business Council came forward. We held their hand, and we sorted it out in a very, very quick manner. Otherwise, if you don't approach, if you don't go here, to the right people, it doesn't happen. And then a kind of image building start, that doing business with India is very difficult, doing with business with Armenia is very difficult. So it's all about facilitation. It's all about policy implementation.
Yeah, the possibilities are very exciting, and you almost want to run away with it, but you have to actually keep your feet on the ground and make sure, Armenia can handle this and that things are going in the right direction so that they don't have these negative opinions. And so one thing I'm curious about too is just maybe from a person to person, the people to people connections. What do you think the level of awareness of maybe Armenian history or identity in India is, and of Indian culture here in Armenia?
So very, very interesting question. Then again, I come back to my journey when I started here. That time I came for the first time to Armenia in 2011. Okay. And that time and this time, there is a huge difference between, the approaches, what it used to be and what it is now. Earlier, your all imagination about India was through Bollywood. Okay. And that too from the Soviet era movies of Raj Kapoor, and then Mithun Chakraborty, and that's it when I was there in 2013. So the whole imagination about India was stuck in 80s and before, 60s, 50s, whatever it is. After we came up here, we were also surprised that there was not much awareness about each other. People were not very much aware about India in Armenia, and Indians were like, which Armenia, in Russia, or it's in South America, there is one Armenia, right? So awareness level was not there. And because I can understand, because there was no very much engagement of two countries on bilateral scale. it was just very much, in a way that, okay, one country is here, you are supporting Kashmir, I am supporting this. So one UN vote or something like that. Okay. But slowly we started working on, it was very tough challenge for us, that how to visualize the India-Armenia relationship in contemporary terms. So we started doing a lot of activities involving Indo-Armenian culture and folk, both sides. Also, we started focusing on New India. What is New India? What is science and technology achievement and the economic achievement of India? India has already arrived on the world stage. So although our work was there, but pace was very slow. Pace of awareness was very slow. You had 2020 Karabakh War, and that was the time when a lot of people, even from villages, got to know about Armenia, right? Because Indian television, they started discussing Karabakh War. I was personally attending, the TV shows to defend Armenian point of view. For the whole month, I was there, and lots of people were watching. So, although, the news channels present it in a very, highly exaggerated manner, but that exaggeration actually transformed into knowing about Armenia more. And people got to know that India has supplied defense equipments to Armenia to protect after that. So Swati radar system was given that time. And after that, India became a big defense partner of Armenia, and this started coming in news and lots of discussions. And you could have seen sudden rise of think tank cooperation, think tank discussion, the bilateral visits between India and Armenia. So it changed the scenario completely. So the Indian people, the public, the mainstream media, they came into being to play, more about Armenia. Armenia is our very good friendly country who is supporting the Kashmir cause of India, always with us on UN Security Council voting pattern. And then people got to know about Armenia, Azerbaijan and Turkey and Pakistan brotherhood.
Especially in the past couple months.
No, even in 2020, So they call themselves three brothers, right? And they fought against Armenia.
There's Pakistani flags all over Azerbaijan, and they say even Pakistani fighters might have been there too.
Right. So, when people see this kind of anomalies, and then they see, oh, this is the equation in this part of the world, that you have countries supporting India, loving India, and you have countries which is hating India, which is, allying with our enemies. And then people started to differentiate between these countries, and then they got to know, okay, they wanted to know more about Armenia. What is Armenia and how is our relationship? And then, you have lots of discussion among diaspora, among think tank, fraternity, in media, and of course, social media influencers. They started promoting Armenia as our friendly country. You should go and travel there. I have always been doing this myself. So lots of awareness is there now. Earlier, it was not. So this is a great transformation. Now, the government of India is not telling people to go to Armenia. It's not about government of Armenia. It's people themselves that they are visualizing their pattern, on the lines of which country is with us and which country is against us. So this is very, very powerful equation within a country. And knowing that Prime Minister Modi's foreign policies build up on the ground that where public sentiment is there. And this is where public sentiment is there. So you will see more and more cooperation, collaboration, recalibration, I must say, and looking towards Armenia as the local strategic partner, and things coming up on that level So yes, it's a big journey, but now that journey has taken a shape, a formal shape, and this formal shape has to be nourished well towards strategic partnership in this region.
Exactly. Well, this is where we're going forward. And by the way, when it comes to this boycott, I was wondering, is that, it's one thing to say, let's cancel our trip to Turkey and Azerbaijan and go to Armenia, but it's another thing to do it. Well, this is just my one experience, but sure enough, as I had this question in my head, a couple of days ago, I was approached by some Indians. They said, "Hi, can you help us find our hostel?" And I said, "Oh yeah, what brought you to Armenia?" And they said, "Well, we had a trip booked to Azerbaijan, but then we learned about what they've done with supporting Pakistan, and we were told by our people to cancel that trip, so we canceled it, and now we don't know anything about Armenia, but we're here."
Exactly.
So this is a moment. This is why I want to do things like this podcast. It's a moment that has to be grasped, and here we are.
Right. Actually, although the global scenario is not very good, everywhere there is crisis. Okay, right now airspaces are being closed, but out of this negativity, there is some positive coming out for India and Armenia. Is that India and Armenia, both countries are for each other. They are always there for each other, and this is the latest, Israel-Iran crisis. Basically, that has also, as I explained you, this has also showed a very positive face of India-Armenia relationship, and that is the reflection of all those hard works being done in the last 15-20 years. So it's a very, pleasant feeling for me, for everyone. I should thank Embassy of India, Government of India, Embassy of Armenia, Government of Armenia, and all stakeholders who have been part of this. IF has been always there to work on this, Armenia Business Council, and any other governmental and non-governmental parties. They all have to be thanked for this day that we are now witnessing. The day of, this momentum of Indo-Armenian relationship is amazing, and you will see only growing its strength to strength.
Exactly. Let's hope that we can just keep this going. So thank you, Rananjay. I really appreciate you having
you
here.
Here. It's a great honor to be here on CivilNet. I think it's a nice experience for me.
It's great for us to learn more about our Indian friends. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining the CivilNet podcast.